Thomas Hardy was a very important writer. He was born in England in a place called Dorset. This was in 1840. He lived a long life. He died in 1928. Dorset was a special place for him. He called it Wessex in his books. It was a place of farms and small towns. Hardy knew this world very well. He wrote about its people and their lives. His stories often showed the beauty of the countryside, but they also showed the hardships people faced there. Hardy did not only write novels, he was also a great poet. In fact, he thought of himself more as a poet. He wrote many poems throughout his life. His novels made him famous, but his poetry was very personal to him. He first trained as an architect. Writing became his true passion later. He understood the old ways of life. He saw them changing in his lifetime. This change was often a sad thing for him and his characters. Many of Hardy's books talk about big ideas. He wrote about fate. This means things that happen to people that they cannot control. He wrote about nature. Nature could be beautiful, but it could also be cruel. He wrote about society. He often showed how unfair society could be. This was especially true for women and poor people. His stories make us think about life. They make us feel deeply for the people in them. You might know some of his famous books. Is one. It is a very sad story about a young woman. Is another popular one. It tells of love and farming life. It was very controversial when it came out. It was very bleak. Shows a man's rise and fall. Hardy also wrote many wonderful short stories. The Withered Arm is one of these powerful short tales. The Withered Arm is a famous short story by Thomas Hardy. It is a dark and unsettling tale. It was first published in a magazine in 1888. Later it became part of a collection. This collection was called. These stories all take place in Hardy's fictional Wessex. They show the unique atmosphere of this rural part of England. The Withered Arm is one of the most memorable in the collection. It stays with you long after you finish reading. It explores very strong human feelings. The story begins in a quiet, lonely part of the countryside. We meet Rhoda Brooke. She's a milkmaid. She lives a simple, isolated life. The news arrives that Farmer Lodge, a local man, has married. He is bringing his new young wife, Gertrude, home. This news is very important for Rhoda. It sets the whole story in motion. There is a sense of waiting. There is a feeling that something bad might happen. The air is thick with unspoken things. The story quickly introduces a strange and frightening element. Rhoda has a vivid dream, or perhaps it is more than a dream. In this dream, she sees Farmer Lodge's new wife. An old woman seems to attack Gertrude in the dream. This dream feels very real to Rhoda. It is the first hint of the supernatural. It is the seed of the tragedy that will unfold. The story mixes everyday life with something mysterious and dark. This makes it very powerful. The Withered Arm is a story full of sadness. It deals with jealousy. It deals with pain and suffering. It shows how people can be cruel to each other. Sometimes they do not even mean to be. The story is also very eerie. It has a ghostly quality. Hardy makes us feel the fear and despair of the characters. It is a story about how the past can haunt the present. It is a classic example of Hardy's skill in storytelling. Rhoda Brooke is one of the main characters in The Withered Arm. She is a woman who has known hardship. She once had a relationship with Farmer Lodge. This was before he married Gertrude. Rhoda and Farmer Lodge have a son together, but Farmer Lodge did not marry Rhoda. He left her. She now works as a milkmaid. She lives a lonely life. Society in those days was not kind to women like Rhoda. She carries a heavy burden from her past. When Rhoda hears of Lodge's marriage, it stirs up old feelings. She feels bitterness. She feels a deep sense of being wronged. She loved Lodge. Now he's chosen someone else, someone younger and prettier. Rhoda does not express her pain openly at first. It stays hidden inside her, but this hidden pain is strong. It is like a poison. It affects her thoughts and her actions. She watches from a distance. She observes the new happiness of Farmer Lodge. Rhoda's dream is a key moment for her character. In this dream, she sees Gertrude. An old woman, a version of herself perhaps, attacks Gertrude's arm. When Gertrude later develops a withered arm, Rhoda feels a terrible connection. Did her hateful thoughts cause this, or was it something truly supernatural? Rhoda is not a simply evil person. She seems to regret what happened. She even tries to help Gertrude later. This makes her a complex character. Rhoda's life is ultimately a tragic one. She is a victim of her circumstances. She is a victim of Lodge's indifference. She is also, perhaps, a victim of her own strong emotions. Her unrequited love turns into something dark. It leads to unintended consequences. She represents the pain of a woman scorned. She also shows the deep human need for love and recognition. Her story is a sad reminder of how much suffering can come from broken hearts. Gertrude Lodge enters the story as a young, hopeful bride. She's newly married to Farmer Lodge. She is described as pretty and full of life. She comes to Holmstoke with dreams of happiness. She is unaware of Rhoda Brooke's past with her husband. She is an innocent figure. She expects a good life with Farmer Lodge. At first, things seem to go well for her. She is friendly and kind. She even tries to befriend Rhoda's son. She represents new beginnings. However, Gertrude's happiness is short-lived. A mysterious ailment strikes her. Her left arm begins to wither. It becomes weak and marked. Doctors cannot explain it. They cannot cure it. This affliction changes everything for Gertrude. It causes her great physical pain, but it also causes immense emotional suffering. She becomes anxious and desperate. Her beauty starts to fade. Her spirit starts to break. The withered arm becomes a constant reminder of her misfortune. Gertrude's desperation leads her down a dark path. She seeks help from conjurer Trendle. He is a man known for folk magic and strange remedies. This shows how much she wants to be cured. She is willing to try anything. The conjurer suggests a horrifying cure. She must touch the neck of a freshly hanged man. This journey into superstition shows her despair. It also highlights the beliefs of the time. People turned to such things when medicine failed them. Gertrude's story is deeply tragic. She starts as a symbol of youth and promise. She ends as a broken, suffering woman. Her love for Farmer Lodge also suffers. He grows distant as her condition worsens. She loses her health, her beauty, and her husband's affection. She is an innocent victim. She is caught in a web of past resentments and supernatural events she does not understand. Her fate is a stark illustration of the story's cruelty. Section 5. Farmer Lodge, the man between two destinies. Farmer Lodge is the man at the center of the story. He connects Rhoda Brooke and Gertrude Lodge. He is a well-to-do farmer. He seems to be a practical man. He makes decisions based on what is good for him. He chose not to marry Rhoda, the mother of his child. Instead, he marries Gertrude, a younger woman. This choice sets the tragic events in motion. He is perhaps not intentionally cruel, but he is certainly very insensitive to the feelings of others. Lodge's character is revealed through his actions. He abandoned Rhoda and their son. He provides for them financially, but offers no emotional support. This shows a lack of care. When Gertrude's arm withers, he is concerned at first, but his affection for her seems to lessen as her beauty fades. He becomes distant. He seems unable to cope with her suffering, or perhaps he is repulsed by it. He does not offer her the comfort she needs. This shows his shallow nature. Farmer Lodge does not seem to understand the depth of pain he causes. He moves on from Rhoda easily. He expects Gertrude to remain the pretty young wife he married. He is a man who avoids difficult emotions. He is focused on his farm and his social standing. He is not a villain in a simple sense. He is more like an ordinary man who makes selfish choices. These choices have terrible consequences for the women in his life. He is a catalyst for their sorrow. In the end, Farmer Lodge is also a lonely figure. He loses Gertrude. He lives on, but his life seems empty. The story suggests that his actions lead to his own unhappiness. He is left with regret, or at least a sense of loss. He is a reminder that our choices affect others deeply. He fails to cherish what he has. He fails to take responsibility for his past. His character shows the moral failings that can lead to tragedy. Section 6. Love's bitter harvest, jealousy and despair. Unrequited love is a powerful theme in The Withered Arm. It is love that is not returned. Rhoda Brooke loved Farmer Lodge deeply. He was the father of her child, but he did not marry her. He chose another. This rejection fuels her pain. Her love does not simply disappear. Instead, it twists into something else. It becomes a source of bitterness and resentment. This unreturned love haunts Rhoda. It colors her view of the world and of Gertrude. Rhoda's feelings of jealousy are central to the story. She sees Gertrude. Gertrude has everything Rhoda wanted. She has Lodge's name, she has his affection, she has a secure position. Rhoda's dream, where Gertrude is attacked, is born from this jealousy. It is a subconscious wish, perhaps, a wish for Gertrude to suffer as Rhoda has suffered. The story makes us question if this intense emotion itself can have a physical effect. Can a jealous thought become a curse? Gertrude also experiences a form of lost love. She marries Farmer Lodge expecting happiness and affection, but as her arm withers, his love for her diminishes. He becomes distant and less caring. She feels his rejection. This adds to her despair. She is no longer the cherished wife. She becomes a burden to him. Her love for him is met with indifference or even revulsion. This lack of love contributes to her decline. It makes her suffering even more profound. The story shows how destructive these emotions can be. Unrequited love and jealousy do not just hurt the person feeling them. They can spread like a poison. They affect everyone around. In The Withered Arm, these feelings lead to tragedy for both women. There is no happy ending. There is only pain and loss. Hardy shows that love, when unfulfilled or betrayed, can become a terrible force. It can lead to the darkest parts of human experience. Section 7, The Unseen Hand, Supernatural Currents in the Story. Supernatural elements are very important in The Withered Arm. Thomas Hardy often used folklore and superstition in his stories. These were common beliefs in rural England at the time. They add a layer of mystery and dread to the tale. The story asks us to think about forces beyond our understanding. Are there things that science cannot explain? Can human emotions like hatred and jealousy take on a physical form? These questions make the story very unsettling. The first major supernatural event is Rhoda's dream. She falls asleep full of bitterness towards Gertrude. She dreams that an old hag, resembling herself, attacks Gertrude's arm. The dream is incredibly vivid. It feels real. When Gertrude later reveals the marks on her arm, they match Rhoda's dream. This is a chilling moment. Is it a coincidence? Or did Rhoda's intense negative energy somehow cause the injury? The story leaves this ambiguous. This ambiguity is part of its power. Gertrude's search for a cure also leads her into the world of the supernatural. She consults conjurer Trendle. He is a wise man who uses folk magic. He tells Gertrude that she has been overlooked or cursed. His diagnosis confirms the idea of an unseen enemy. His prescribed cure is even more shocking. Gertrude must touch the neck of a newly executed man. This belief in the power of the dead to heal is an old superstition. It highlights the desperation and the dark beliefs of the era. These supernatural elements create a sense of doom. They suggest that the characters are caught in a web of forces they cannot control. It is not just about human actions. There seems to be something else at play, a dark fate perhaps. The withered arm itself becomes a symbol of this unseen evil. It is a physical sign of a hidden wound. Hardy uses these elements to explore the darker side of human nature and the mysteries that lie beyond our everyday world. Section 8, Egdon Heath and Beyond, the Mood of the Landscape. Thomas Hardy was a master at using setting to create atmosphere. The landscape in The Withered Arm is not just a background, it plays an active role in the story. It reflects the emotions of the characters. It enhances the mood of gloom and isolation. The story is set in Hardy's Wessex. This is a region of moors, lonely farms, and ancient woodlands. These places feel timeless. They also feel full of secrets and old sorrows. Much of the story takes place in remote, isolated locations. Rhoda Brooks' cottage is lonely. The dairy farms are far from bustling towns. This isolation contributes to the characters' feelings of loneliness. It also makes the supernatural events seem more believable. In such places, away from the rational world of cities, old beliefs can still hold power. The vast, unchanging landscape can make human lives seem small and insignificant. It can make fate feel more powerful. Hardy uses descriptions of nature to build a sense of dread. Think of the dark nights, the long empty roads Gertrude travels. The descriptions of Egdon Heath, a famous Hardy landscape, often evoke a sense of wildness and mystery. The weather too can reflect the story's mood. A stormy night or a bleak winter day can mirror the characters' inner turmoil. The environment seems to conspire with the tragic events. It is a witness to their suffering. The gallows, where Gertrude seeks her cure, is a particularly grim setting. It is a place of death and public shame. It represents the harsh justice of the time. It also connects to the story's themes of suffering and despair. By choosing such locations, Hardy makes the eerie aspects of the story more vivid. The landscape becomes a character itself. It whispers of past tragedies. It reminds us of the harsh realities of life and death. It helps to make The Withered Arm so haunting. Section 9. A story that lingers. The tragic power of the withered arm. The withered arm is a profoundly tragic story. The fates of Rhoda Brooke and Gertrude Lodge are heartbreaking. Rhoda lives with guilt and the memory of her unintended curse. She's forever marked by her past love and its bitter consequences. Gertrude, the innocent victim, suffers a terrible decline. She loses her health, her beauty, her husband's love, and finally her life. There is no justice for her. There is no happy resolution. Their suffering feels real and deeply unfair. The eerie aspects of the tale are what make it so captivating. The withered arm itself is a potent symbol. It represents decay, jealousy, and the touch of the supernatural. The image of Rhoda's spectral attack in the dream is chilling. The scene at the gallows is one of the most disturbing in Hardy's fiction. It is a moment of pure horror. These elements create a sense of unease that stays with the reader. They tap into primal fears about curses, hidden evil, and the unknown. Hardy's story explores the dark corners of human psychology. It shows how love can turn to hate, how jealousy can consume a person. It also critiques a society that offered few options for women like Rhoda, and it shows the limits of rationality when faced with inexplicable suffering. The blend of realism and folklore makes the story powerful. We believe in the characters' everyday lives. This makes the intrusion of the supernatural even more shocking and effective. The Withered Arm remains a powerful and unsettling read. It shows Thomas Hardy's skill as a storyteller. He could create vivid characters and a strong sense of place. He could explore deep human emotions, and he could weave in elements of the supernatural to create a truly haunting effect. The story is a dark gem. It reminds us of the fragility of happiness. It reminds us of the enduring power of unresolved pain. It is a tale that continues to fascinate and disturb.